So coming from TechCrunch, vibe coding platform Base44 launches own model as AI startups seek defensibility. So I think this is an interesting story to look at just with the basic question of what is the value of an AI model? Like, seriously, how much is this crap worth? So that's one of the things we hear from like OpenAI. So Sam Altman and OpenAI, they're really focused on the idea of frontier models, and he's trying to sell the concept that intelligence is going to be a utility. Just like you go to the electric company, the gas company, the sewer company, the water company, whatever else. The idea is that there will be a or maybe multiple providers of intelligence, and then you'll just simply pay some rated fee in order to be able to access it. And that's his vision for artificial intelligence. As I've argued for a long time at this point, that doesn't make sense from an architecture standpoint and for how this technology actually functions, right? We talk about things like small language models. There's other language models you can use on laptop computers or whatever else. There's open source models. There's all this type of stuff, and you start to realize the concept that all intelligence is going to be centralized one way or another just functionally does not make sense for many reasons, and it's one of the reasons why I think the valuations for OpenAI, Anthropic, and SpaceX are just absolutely absurd. Not that they should not be worth a lot of money. Yes, they shouldn't be worth all the money. And what's interesting here to take a look at Base 44 is what they're talking about is the idea that they need to be able to control their model, right? One of the things we've seen from Anthropic with Anthropic Claude not that long ago is that people were using harnesses. So harnesses is like OpenClaw, this whole agent framework. So they were using OpenClaw with their Anthropic subscription, and it was going along. Here was the thing, it was burning a lot of tokens. It was costing Anthropic a lot of money, but this was a thing that people were able to do. Then all of a sudden, Anthropic changes the rules. And so if you do normal activity using Anthropic, that's what you can use the account for. If you use what is called a third-party harness, basically OpenClaw or something like that, then you have to pay for API fees. Now to be clear, for Anthropic's point on this makes sense, right? They can't simply burn cash to make you happy. But on the other hand, one of the things you have to be thinking about is you had a lot of users that got used to being able to do what they were doing with Anthropic, and basically overnight that ability got pulled away from them. We've seen this before with things like OpenAI changing models, right? People get used to using a particular model. They know how to use the model. They set up a whole bunch of routines for how to use a particular model. OpenAI comes out with a new model for ChatGPT. All of a sudden, basically, people's workflows break overnight because now they're dealing with a new system. And this is the type of things real businesses simply cannot handle. In the testing environment, fine. In the screwing around phase, fine. But at a certain point in time, you have to lock down what the hell you're doing and deploy at scale, and it needs to do what the hell it's supposed to do. Somebody puts out one stupid update that you cannot have it screw with every single user you have in your environment. That's just not a good way to run your technology systems. And so what you're looking at with Base 44 and other technology companies out there, what they're realizing is that they need to own their models. So, with the open source models out there, or if they train their own models, they're going to then run their own models on their own systems. And as I've said many times before, this begs the question as to why OpenAI or any of these companies should be valued as they are. Take a look at this. Base44, the vibe coding platform that Wix acquired for $80 million just 1 year ago, when the company was barely 6 months old and had a team of 8, has started rolling out its own AI model to support its users in creating apps with natural language. The move comes as the discussion in the AI circles has intensified over whether frontier models are best suited for all use cases. A related question is whether businesses built on top of someone else's models are truly defensible long term. The latest move of Base44, based in Tel Aviv, speaks to both. I also kind of think this is going to be interesting coming out of Israel. So Israel's got a few issues. Look, Israel's just got a few issues going on. And I think one of the curious things to be thinking about is this whole idea of sovereignty, so like AI sovereignty. So for the past decade, decade and a half, we talked about data sovereignty. So where users' data is stored, where the data for citizens of a particular country gets stored, that is data sovereignty. And now one of the things that's coming up is this whole idea of AI sovereignty. Basically, the G7 countries, especially the countries of Europe, are scared shitless after the Trump administration gave Anthropic 90 minutes, an hour and a half, to come up with a system to prevent all non-Americans from using their Mythos 5 and Fable 5 models. And the issue is that people were using those models, they were integrating them into the workflows, and then all of a second, in 90 minutes, all of that access goes away. So that's one of the things we're hearing right now is there's a lot of push in Europe in order to create their own models. And this is the important thing to understand here. Not because they necessarily want to, not because they necessarily see a massive return on the future and they've got to jump on the wave. Simply because they do know that artificial intelligence, these models have real value, and they don't want to have their companies integrated with systems where their connection to those systems could be ripped away in the blink of an eye. And so one of the things to think about with Base44, so they're owned by Wix. Wix is an Israeli company, and Israel, you know, again, without going too much into it, they're having some issues right now. They're having some issues both internally and on the world stage. There's something called, though, is it the boycott, divest, and sanction movement, the BDS movement. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. And so for Israel, there is the real concern if what if, some point in the future, countries that are providing services, possibly AI services or whatever else, simply cut those services off. We will not provide AI services that will support military functions that lead to genocide, right? Well, it's like, well, I mean, look, some of the AI services are being used for ethnic cleansing, but some of the AI services are also being used for, sewage management and that type of thing. But all of a sudden, right, if that AI pipeline gets chopped off, both the ethnic cleansing and your sewers stop working at the same time, right? This is the kind of thing that folks have to be thinking about, and countries like Israel would have to be thinking about. So the thought that Israel or an Israeli company would be focusing more on building their own models from a number of different vantage points actually starts to make a lot of sense. While its custom LLM is only just rolling out, Base44 hopes that it will eventually outperform frontier models. According to its founder, quote, training and owning the model as part of our entire stack allows us a lot more optimizations on latency, cost, and efficiency. That's going to be one of the important things, right? What you hear from Sam Altman is this whole hyper focus on frontier models. But one of the big things to think about in the corporate world is I don't need a frontier model. I need a model that gives me the solutions, gives me the output that I need. If that's a small language model, that is more than fine for me. I don't necessarily need a frontier model. At first glance, this could be a way to stay ahead of competitors such as Swedish startup Lovable, which reached unicorn status in its Series A round last summer, and that relies on external LLMs. However, Shlomo expects that others will train their own models, quote, at least the players that have gotten enough scale and velocity to have enough data. And that's the other thing to be thinking about this, which is kind of interesting. Basically, what he's saying here is, well, not everybody is going to train their own models. Only the people big enough are going to train their own models. Now, again, you think about the enterprise world, basically the type of customers that OpenAI and Anthropic are going for. They're going for the big cut. They don't want the onesie twosies. They don't want the consumer. They really don't want the consumers. They don't really want the small business customers. They want to lock in the large customers. They want to lock in the customers that are burning hundreds of billions of tokens per month. And one of the interesting things here with the CEO of Base44 is basically what he's saying is like, well, the companies that would be burning hundreds of billions of tokens a month are the ones that should create their own LLMs And the people that aren't to that scale, they're the ones that should use OpenAI. So basically, OpenAI is going to get all the AI pores. AI pores. And I'm just, again, to be clear, not sure how that gets to a $1 trillion valuation. Players with strong brands are now leaning into their data and infrastructure to increase their defensibility, and Base44 fits that pattern. The company says the first iteration of its LLM, Base1, was developed and trained on a data set generated from, quote, tens of millions of real user interactions on the platform. This is also going to be the interesting thing with the models, right? The whole question of what do you actually want to train your LLM on? So I've talked about this before. Was it fiduciary? I don't know. One of these banking companies, these money companies, I guess, financial firms, right? It was interesting. What they did is they had an incredibly small model. It's like a 200 meg in size model. And the reason is all they did was train it on financial information. So they have all these forms, right? You're a banking institution, you're a financial institution. You just have millions and millions and millions of forms that your customers have filled out and your employees have filled out over the years. So basically, all they did was they trained the model on those forms plus anything else required to make it, actually function how it was supposed to. They didn't train it on Reddit. They didn't train it on Twitter. They didn't train it on Shakespeare. They trained it on financial forms because they're a financial institution. So they come out with a model that is incredibly fast, incredibly resource efficient, and is focused on the specific tasks that they're dealing with. So basically what Base44 is saying here is that they have tens of millions of real user interactions. They're training their model based off of what their users are actually doing. Again, not off of the entire frickin' internet, which makes sense. Cost pressure, user Rofici said, has driven change that enterprise customers are now demanding. Quote, they don't necessarily see a return on investment when using the latest models for all use cases. So an entire infrastructure is being set up to do orchestration and optimization to select the right models for them so that costs don't skyrocket while maintaining the same or similar performance across the majority of use cases. So here where they're talking about basically the efficiency of architecture. Quote, we want to get a model that is going to be more aligned to what we think is the right thing, is going to be more optimized to what we see users like in terms of the results we're getting, and is going to be faster and cheaper for customers eventually than using the frontier models like Opus. As for Base44 itself, cost reduction isn't as clear-cut. In a press release, the company explained that, quote, ownership of the model gives Base44 direct control over compute and inference spend, expected to result in a structurally stronger margin profit profile over time. So the idea here, too, is they know how much this crap costs. Like that's one of the big problems right now with when you're buying tokens from Anthropic or OpenAI or whatever else. We know those tokens are currently being subsidized. So the issue is when they IPO or when they're about to IPO, they're going to need to show more revenue and they're going to need to show a path to profitability. So the problem is you're paying an amount for tokens now. But you don't know if 6 months from now where the price for those tokens are going to be. Is it going to be a little bit higher? Is it going to be a lot higher? Like what happens if OpenAI goes from subsidizing token utilization to profitability? Right? Is it going to double your costs? And one of the big things with businesses is they may be able to swallow a doubling the cost, right? If you double the cost of OpenAI, to be clear, OpenAI at this point in time is really pretty cheap. To be honest with you, with what you get, OpenAI is pretty cheap. So the issue isn't necessarily whether or not they can afford it, but they need to budget out, right? Businesses have budgets. Businesses have fiscal years. Businesses have plans. So if they're sitting there and they budget for a cost to be at this level, even though when they're budgeting, they could budget for this, but they're not because the cost is here. And then they go out and then they buy a lot of toilet paper. Because, right, remember executives, they have one pool of money. Out of that pool of money comes tokens, comes server rooms, comes your salary, comes toilet paper, comes coffee, comes all this other stuff. Right? So they budget for an amount of tokens, expecting the token cost to be here. They go out and they buy the nice they buy the quadruple ply toilet paper. They buy you the coffee that was crap directly out of the cat's ass, right? That because they've got enough money. They're like, okay, we allocated this amount of money for tokens. We can allocate this amount of money for toilet paper and this amount of money for coffee that was crapped out of a cat's ass. That's a real thing. Still haven't had any. Still, after 20 years, I've been wanting that kind of coffee for 20 years. Anyway, still haven't had it. Civets? I think they're pooped out of civets. Anyways, here's the thing. Here's the problem though. You budget all of this. You put all of that into, you start the spending plans or whatever else, and then all of a sudden the cost for tokens goes from here to here. And now the problem is you just run out of money. If you knew, you would have bought double ply toilet paper. You would have been fine buying double ply toilet paper. You would have bought Starbucks coffee. You wouldn't have given your people Lion coffee. You got to buy Starbucks coffee, but you would have budgeted appropriately based off of your expectations, right? But you spent based off of expectations. Now the token price goes through the roof. Now what the hell is your business going to do? And that's one of the problems that we're dealing with these startup companies. We don't know what the costs they're going to be in a year. And this is a big issue. There is more to deploying artificial intelligence and putting it into your infrastructure than simply whether or not it works. There's a lot more to it. And so that's what's interesting here with Base44. Basically what they're saying is, look, by creating our own models, by running our own models, not only do we get control, but we also understand how these systems are working, and we can do proper business projections and the rest of it, cost projections, that type of deal. So anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about Base44? Purchased by Wix, an Israeli company, building their own models specifically for the tasks that they actually care about. Do you think this is the way to go? Do you think this is the future? When you hear about this, does this make a lot of sense? And OpenAI's $1 trillion valuations start to seem a wee bit more questionable. And what do you think about this? Again, with countries, like I say, with Israel. Look, let's put reality to the side for a second. Let's put what's going on in Israel to the side for a second. But just think about Israel as a country and just kind of the concept of the issues they have. And think about it. Does it make sense for companies to start running their own models and creating their own models because of larger geopolitical issues? I don't know. Put your thoughts in the comment section down there. If you like these videos, make sure do remember that they are on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.